Hi everybody, this is day 3 of daily math. If you have not attempted these problems on your own, please make sure you try them all on a separate piece of paper before watching this video explanation. If you do watch this video explanation and you hear things that you hadn't thought of, or if you see some new solving methods that weren't necessarily the ones that you used, please make sure that you take some notes, and remember, you always want to be writing when I'm writing and showing all of your work. So for this first one, it just wants us to write a phrase in words for this algebraic expression. So when I look at this, I think maybe I could write it as 3 times the quotient of x and 9. Now, there are lots of different ways to write this. You could have written 3 multiplied by x divided by 9, right? And that would have been totally fine. For me, I used the word quotient because I know quotient means to divide, right? And I know that when I see x over 9 written like this with the fraction bar, I know that the fraction bar means divide, right? And it even looks a little bit like a division symbol. Make sure you have the x written first and then the 9, because the number that is on the top, the numerator, always goes first. So you don't want to say 3 times the quotient of 9 and x. You want to say 3 times the quotient of x and 9, because those are two different things. All right, so for our second one, we have a coordinate grid. If you are not able to print out this picture that I uploaded of the blank one of this, then that is totally fine. It's pretty easy to draw a coordinate grid for yourself. You just want to use a ruler or some sort of straight edge and draw kind of a plus sign like this, and then just go ahead and mark it all the way up to 5, down to -5, over this way to 5, and over this way to -5. So make sure these numbers are negatives and these numbers are negatives, while these and these are positives, okay? So taking a look here at this, it says for number 2, what is the distance between points A and B on the coordinate plane? Well, we can do 2 different methods here, and I'm going to show you one that pertains to how we were doing this when we were looking at finding the area of a parallelogram, okay? So if you don't remember those lessons, I'm going to give you a quick refresher. Looking at A, let's go ahead and figure out what the coordinates are for A and write them here. So for A, we always go left to right first, right? Because this is the x-axis. And then we'll go up and down second. This here is the y-axis. You can remember this is the y-axis because it goes up and down like a y, and it kind of looks like this part of the y here, okay? So we're going to go left to right first. In this case, we have to start at 0. We always start at 0. And then we go left. So we're going to go 2 over to the left. And we're actually going over to -2, right? And we're going from -2 up to +4. Do you see how we did that? So the coordinates for A are going to be -2, +4, okay? Looking here, the coordinates for B, we are also going to go over to -2, but then we're going to come down to -4. So the coordinates for B are going to be -2, comma, -4. Now, we are trying to find the distance between A and B. You'll notice A and B, looking at this distance here, is on the y-axis, right? So in our coordinates, this is our x, and this is our y. This is our x, and this is our y, right? So since we're on the y-axis, we're going up and down, we are going to find the distance between our 2 y coordinates. So for A, we have 4, and for B, we have -4. So we're going to find the distance, or the difference, between 4 and -4. Well, using this right here, this is kind of like a number line that's been flipped on its side, right? So we can go ahead, we can start at 4, and we can find the distance to -4, and we can just count that out. So I know that I have to go 4 this way to get to 0 and 4 this way to get to -4. So the distance here is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The distance between A and B, we can count it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The distance between A and B is going to be 8. But 8 what? Because we always want to add a label, right? In this case, it's going to be 8 units. Okay? So if you didn't have it before, please make sure you have the coordinates written down for A and B. All right, number 3 says, on the coordinate plane, plot a point that will create an isosceles triangle. Write the point's coordinates on the line. Okay, so isosceles triangle. Remembering those vocab words that we learned, right? Equilateral triangle means that all sides are equal or the same. So maybe all sides have a length of 3 inches, right? A scalene triangle means that none of the sides are the same. So maybe one side is 3 inches, one side is 5 inches, and one side is 6 inches. So an isosceles triangle, what that means here is that 2 of the side lengths are the same. Another word for the same could be equal, and another word that you might see, a big one that we've talked about, is congruent. 2 of the sides are congruent or equal. So looking at this, if this is one of my sides here, A to B, okay, and I'm going to try really hard to do a straight line, but let me see if I have some sort of straight edge sitting around here, and I do. Okay, I'm going to use my daily language book here. So I'm going to kind of create a straight edge. I'm just going to use this paper here like this. Make it sure it's lined up nice and neat. All right, so then if this is one side of the triangle and I want the other 2 sides to be equal, I think I'm just going to come up here to 1, and I'm going to put a nice dot here. This would be right here. This would be, because this is A, this is B, this one's going to be C, right? Okay, and I'm going to put my 3rd coordinate mark there, my 3rd point there, and then I'm going to use my straight edge to connect to A, and my straight edge to connect C to B. Now, looking at this here, we can see that this is in fact an isosceles triangle because side AC and side CB are congruent, and I added those signs there to mark that they are congruent, okay? So it also says write the point's coordinates on the line. So looking at this point, on the x-axis, we move over 1, and on the y-axis, do we move at all? No, we don't. So this coordinate, this point, is going to be 1, 0. The x is 1, and the y is 0 because we just move over 1 and then we don't move for y. Alrighty, that is it for today's daily math. Please send me a picture of your work if you can. You can just email it to me. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon.